Hey guys, and welcome to my channel. Today in this particular video, I'm going to look at a particular and very interesting open source photo editing software called Filmulator. Now, I am personally a big supporter of open source software because look at the Darktable, look at the Raw Therapy, GIMP, Audacity, Blender, just to name a few, that helping all the artists around the world, and they're all amazing software and absolutely free of cost. Definitely is a big help by open source community. So recently in Petapixel, this news came out that the Filmulator is like one of the most open source photo editing software that is particularly different. So I downloaded this software just to take a look because I personally want to find it for myself. So as you can clearly see, this is how the interface look like. Now before I jump into the process, because I'm going to do a quick edit from import to export, I'm just going to give you what the Filmulator exactly is. Now Filmulator is an open source raw photo editor based on the process of developing film, and while far more limited than the software like Lightroom or Capture One, its tone mapping algorithm is supposedly designed to be faster and easier to get good result. Now it's quite interesting because I did a quick run through the editing process. I mean, you're going to love it or you're going to really hate it, because you know there is so many things missing, especially if you use sophisticated software like Lightroom, Capture One, or I personally use SilkyPix Developer Studio Pro. They're all like pretty darn serious. Even the DxO folder, that's in another league. So if you're coming from those software, then you might be disappointed given the fact that this is way too simple. Anyway, let's jump into it right now. Now first off the bat, you have import, then you have organize, you have Filmulate where you do your typical editing, and you have the settings where obviously you can check the update lens correction, the lens correction updates. I said the same thing twice. Download the latest camera contrast. Obviously this is for if you're using the newest, latest and the greatest, you might have some updates available. Now of course you have the system languages, smooth editor, all kind of knobs and buttons, but pretty straightforward. Now what if I want to download edit some photos? Let's do that. Now you have two options. So number one, import a directory. Those who are coming from Linux or even in Mac, I think this is a common word. Directory means folder, or you can download, you can import individual photos if you like to. Now we have some common presets right there in the middle. So I'm gonna click the bring previously imported files into the queue. The reason why I'm doing that, because I actually did go for a quick use just to be familiar with this software before I make this video. Otherwise I have to wait too long and I had to do too many cuts, and I should know exactly what I'm talking about. So I did a trial before I made this video. So I'm going to click that. Now I'm going to import a directory. So I'm going to click that one first, then select a directory. So I already have a folder ready. I've got 4 photos I'm going to bring in. Now I'm going to click import and let's see what happens. As you can see at the bottom, they're all coming up. Now I'm going to explain very quickly about the photos. First of all, this one on the far left, that's a Canon 70D file, so Canon RAW file. The second one is a Fuji RAW file from X-T20. Third one is actually GoPro RAW converted to DNG using Adobe Converter, DNG Converter I believe. And the fourth one is a bridge camera of Panasonic. As you can see that I have a lot of camera. None of them are expensive, to be honest with you. I just love to try out different cheap cameras. Anyway, that's for another time. Now, after that, what I'm going to do, let's say I want to do some edit. So I'm going to go and see organize. So what it does, it's not as sophisticated when it comes to Lightroom. I mean, if you right click them, it shows the photo based on time and the year, which is pretty easy and quick. Now, I'm going to show you the third photo here. This is the DNG converted with Adobe RAW DNG converter. Now, interestingly enough, here the photo looks pretty weird. It has like a pink overcast. I don't know what is that and why that's happening, but it's there. It can be fixed on post, obviously. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but the fact that it's there. So yeah, that's something to think of. Anyway, so you can select to each date and you should have all of them there, or you can double click the each date histogram above to view photos from a given day, or you can do even shift click to see the photographs. Anyway, that's something that I don't really personally care about. So I'm going to jump straight to the Filmulator. This is where the magic happens. So how are you going to edit a photo and how good is it exactly? Now, let's show you exactly how this works. So I'm going to say that select the image to edit by double click on a photo in work queue. Switch between the images with the right and left arrow key. Rate the current image by pressing 0 through 5. Obviously that means the 0th to 5 star, and X, or by pressing up and down arrow key. So it's there. I'm not gonna go through all of them. So when you select one photo, for example, I'm gonna double click. So you have this photo just there. So it takes a few seconds to load. On top of that, you have all the EXIF files. For instance, you have F11, 1/25 of a second, 18 ISO 1250, EOS 70D, and the name of the file, obviously. This is the forest that I was. What else? You also have the name of the lens there, so it should be on the list. If you don't have it, then you probably have to manually fix it. But then again, I don't know exactly where to fix it manually if I want to. So that's something to be care about. Now, if you click this button, it changes the background color, depends on your need. You can crop it, obviously, is there. So you can rotate with the rotate button, which is pretty sophisticated, I must say. Not very fast, not very slow. I mean, it's okay. It's okay. And of course, you can fix the level like that. So you click it somewhere. Let's say I'm gonna do that here. And I'm going to pull down the other side like that. And click it again. And now your level is fixed. That's pretty neat, I must say. Anyway, what about actual color correction? What about editing? So I'm going to click reset for everything because I think it saved all my previous edit. So I'm going to reset all of it so that I can start from the scratch and show you step by step exactly how they work. Now, you have the temperature. You have the histogram here as usual, as expected. But then again, you have a mini histogram right there for each section, and I never seen that kind of thing before. So it says, when you put the cursor on it, it says this is a histogram for input to the film simulation. So what that means in practice, so if I add temperature, you see that it's going farther up. If I go backward, it's changing. Now, personally speaking, it's nice that, I mean, it's pretty cool, like a gadget, but I mean, I find it quite difficult to understand. I mean, forgive me for lack of knowledge because I'm not the best guy in the world to understand the technical term. If you understand it, comment in the comment section below. Please enlighten me. Maybe I'm missing something, but I'm finding it difficult to understand exactly what it does. Tint. What if I fix tint? I mean, pretty responsive. Those are pretty straightforward tool. I mean, that is common in basically in any smartphone or desktop photo editing software. An exposure compensation, as you imagine, you can reduce or add exposure, which is pretty straightforward. I'm going to reset them all. Now, if I have to zoom in, like let's say you can use your mouse wheel or double finger to swipe up and down to zoom in and out. I don't see any kind of a specific tool for zoom in and out. So it's all based on mouse, I guess. Now, if I'm zooming in quickly, you can see that the photo done from other software are far sharp. I mean, there are not much of a demosaicing done. So I'm gonna edit the photo just like that so that you can see a bit of a detail when you zoomed in quite. Now, the shadow roll off point, what it does. So if I just go pay attention to the histogram, I'm gonna do the same. So there again, you have two histograms. You have the top histogram and you have the tone histogram, as they say. So I'm gonna do that. So if you're going up, I think you are basically adding shadow, if I understand correctly. And if I go backward, it's going back to what it was, and then again the tone histogram remaining the same. The highlight roll off point. So to understand the highlight roll off point, I'm going to have to go to the sky. Then I'm going to, let's say, make it all the way down. So it's reducing the highlight quite a bit. You can see also in the histogram. See, I'm gonna go up slowly, up, little bit up. I mean, it's effective actually, because as the description said, that this software algorithm is based on tone mapping. So it highly recommended, or sorry, not recommended, based on controlling shadow, highlight, black, white, basically contrast, right? Now, those I understand. What I don't understand personally is the film area. So I'm gonna zoom back to see what is happening. Now, if I go upward, what is happening is that it's making it's controlling the local, I mean, it almost giving me the impression of clarity, or in the DxO, I had more or less a similar tool, DxO Film Pack or DxO Photolab, which is the local highlight tone contrast, something like that, which it does is locally control the contrast. So either can have bit contrast or it can make it quite flat if you go all the way up. So that's one thing. And then drama, that's something new. I never heard it in my life, so I'm gonna see it for myself now. So do you. So if I go slowly up, I want to see the change slowly. So if I go slowly all the way up, it makes it darker, bit moody. And if I reduce the warmth, combined both of them, it does create a little bit of drama, I guess. But if I do all the way down, then it becomes quite bright. So yeah, I mean, has a crazy amount of control when it comes to contrast. Now, black clipping point. What is black clipping point? So suppose if I go up, what it does is basically the black cider of Lightroom, or any black cider, oh my goodness, I'm not an alcoholic, guys. Black slider in Lightroom or Capture One, and what I use, Silky Pix Pro Studio Pro. This is what I have also a black tool. This is more or less the same one, I believe. In Canon DPP, you have the same tool, if I remember correctly. Now, while clipping, I can imagine that it does the same thing. I think this area reminds me of levels in Photoshop. I mean, yeah, that's what it is. If I go down, so it adds some white. If I go all the way, it becomes completely white. So yeah, it is the levels tool, in Lightroom and Affinity Photo and Photoshop. So I'm gonna click reset again on both of them. Now, shadow brightness. That's, if I understand, shadow brightness. So you add brightness in your shadow. So if I go down, obviously I'm imagining it's reducing the brightness of the shadow. But if I go up, all the way up, it adds brightness. It's practically make the whole photo flat. That's something interesting too. And highlight brightness, I guess, again, exactly opposite of shadow brightness. You add or reduce brightness of the highlight. So if I go up, as you can clearly see, this is interesting. If I'm going all the way up, it's adding brightness in the highlight, although the highlight here is not clipping at all. It's protecting it. It's trying its best to not touch the 255 value. And if I go all the way down, what happens? Okay, as you imagine, it does the opposite. That's something I like it, I might say. Now, another tool, Monochrome. So if I do it Monochrome, I mean, yeah, I have better tools for Monochrome, but this is not bad. Clearly, this one made for something completely different than your traditional photo editing. Now, Vibrance. If I add Vibrance, I'm gonna go all the way up. Yeah, it makes the whole photo quite vibrant, I might say. If you particularly pay attention to this one here, so I'm gonna reset it, go down to reduce vibrance, and then go all the way up slowly. Yeah, pretty impressive. Now reset, saturation, as you can imagine, is the typical saturation slider, I would say. So that's the first good news, is that one, it supports almost all the raw format. As you can clearly see, I have Canon, Fuji, Adobe DNG, and Panasonic. So all supported. Second thing, this software has a crazy amount of control when it comes to contrast, or more specifically tone mapping. So all the value we can control individually. For instance, like when I edited this photo in Silky Pix Double Pro Studio Pro and Canon DPP, I had a tiny whiny problem when it comes to, like, this photo looks too calm to me, even though histogram looks nice, but in this area I had a little bit of calmness. I wanted to make it a bit more vibrant. So every time I tried to do something, it's always was clipping the highlight, or if not, at least the sky was getting too bright. In this case, I want to have the sky, or cloud in this case, to be visible while brightening the upper midtone. So I can do that easily by just going to the highlight roll of point to reduce the highlight as much as I can. As you can clearly see, the lot of sky detail or cloud details are back, while add some drama, as it says, to make it, or reduce some drama to make it a bit more bright, and if I add vibrance, it became bright and vibrant and colorful. That's pretty neat. That being said, before I go further to my conclusion, I'm going to show you the Fuji file. So this is the Fuji file. As you know, that Fuji X-T2 is a lot newer and more advanced than Canon 70D, but this photo is taken with a Sigma 18-35. That is probably one of the sharpest APS lens exist even today. So when it comes to sharpness, you're looking at the actual sharpness of the lens. So this software doesn't have any sharpness or noise reduction slider whatsoever. Or maybe it does, but I'm missing it. I can see it. I cannot see it. That's it. Now this one, again, you can easily add some vibrance to make it a bit more colorful, or you can do the same thing, reducing or adding the saturation, you know, so on and so forth. If you zoom in quite a bit, you can see a little bit of color distortion, I might say, but you can see the United Nations quite clearly. Nothing wrong with it. Sharpness is not everything in life, but my point is that at least I like to have at least one simple slider for sharpening. This is a sharp photo already, and then the lens is clearly corrected itself. As you can clearly see, you can see the lens XF 18-55, f2.8 to f4. Now it clearly it's been looked after, but then again, I would like to know that it's been looked after. Nothing is there. This is the DNG. As you can clearly see, the DNG somehow showing a very bizarre color cast. I don't know what is going on, but it's there. I can control the tint to fix it, but I don't have much of a control over it, so I don't know what's happening there. But however, when it comes to sky, you can ridiculously reduce the highlight or add highlight. Now finally, this is the Panasonic file. So Panasonic file looks pretty awesome, especially here. I love the contrast. I really do love the contrast. So what I understand at the end of the day, this is a basic, straightforward software to control your exposure, white balance, highlight, shadow, midtone. This is all about brightness control or tone control, and very little about color control. So maybe you can use it for, I don't know what is that for. I mean, again, I don't want to say anything bad about it, only because that I am always a big fan. I have been always been a big fan of open source software of any kind, because the people behind those kind of software are, to me, like Mother Teresa of information technology or computer world. They are doing a lot for the community. Yeah, I mean, they might have a different agenda behind it. Who knows? But at least it is. They are helping those who are broke, poor, but have good idea in their head. So this is one of the idea. And to me, I don't see this software is going to help me anyway, at least professionally. Even personally, I don't know why I would use that. But this software has a lot to go in future. But at this point, there is nothing wrong with it, but there is nothing amazing about it. You have the software, you can easily use it if you want to do some nice and quick editing. Anyway, this is me bragging about Filmulator. Oh, by the way, before I go, I like to finish it up with settings right there. So we can, did I show that already? Yeah, I did already. Anyway, so this is my take on Filmulator. Whoever behind this software, I wish you all the best. This is not a bad software, but this is not for me. But I think this will help a lot of folks out there who are looking for some minimalist software with very externally amount of highlight and shadow control. By the way, if you want to save image as export the image, you just have to click save TIFF or save JPEG, and it will automatically go to the, where does it go? It goes to the source directory. So it goes to where you saved your original raw file or the directory you have selected. I'm not going to go any further than that. I think this is it for me. If you like this video, like and subscribe. If you have any opinion about this software, please do tell me what I have missed. And I apologize in advance if I have missed any particular tools that this software provides, any benefits that this software provides. Please do tell me, I insist. And look after yourself. Bye-bye.